know how I do.
Let's get cracking!
Welcome back, everybody, to another awesome action-packed day of the D2CL. We had some cool games last night, and tonight, well, they're looking at even cooler. Na'Vi going up against Team Reno Tinkerino is our first set of games off the cab, off the rank, and it is getting started right now. In we go. Team Reno Tinkerino for game number 1 will be over on the Dire side. Na'Vi will be over on the Radiant side for this matchup. Drafting done by both Pycat as well as FNG for this match. No Tinker. Oh, well, that's a shame. Not really at all. Team Reno Tinkerino, they know all well the wonderful things that can be done with a Tinker. They'll take out the Skywrath Mage. Lycan going to be banned out this time around by FNG. Na'Vi not really having a great recent run with Lycan. I say that after last night's games. Maybe we have to start rephrasing that one. They did have a good run during the DreamHack Moscow with Lycan. After that, it did seem to work out quite alright. Nature's Prophet will also be removed, so there's no split pushing coming out, or at least not heavily at least. And Team Reno Tinkerino, they just don't care. They pick up Enigma, they pick up Razor. They'll ensure their level of farm is going to be high. They'll ensure their lane security. Make it very difficult for Na'Vi to push in with both the Plasma Field as well as the Midnight Pulse covering the front door of any entrance which Na'Vi try and knock down. Doombringer will be the first pickup by FNG, so very, very standard, very, very stable. Not really showing anything as far as the lanes go. And leaves himself very open as far as what he wants to draft for the next point. I want to say greetings as well to everyone who is tuning in for the broadcast. I don't know if you've visited our Little Deadly Motion live stream before, but I hope you enjoy the trip. And of course, do let people know we're live streaming over here. JD streams in multiple places. Currently, right now, we're mainly here on Deadly Motion as well as over on our Twitch Red channel as well. So follow us in all the different locations. You can find anything we do as well. I tweet out anything I'm casting at Toby1 Dota, so you can check that out there.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, very, very simple. Cap's actually also streaming over on Dota Red right now. We're doing ESL coverage, so you'll find his action over there. He's doing X Game versus Nile tonight. So two games live side by side. We've actually got more action coming up after this too, with Cloud9 going up against Virtus Pro. So we got 2 series of games for you for the D2CL tonight. Alright, Miranda pickup will be now our floating initiator, technically, or possibly. It could also be along the same lines of having a Vorse play that one, and that's why Pycat, you see him banning out as quickly as he possibly can the Vengeful Spirit. The combination of FNG on the VS and a Vorse over on the Mirana is nothing that really you want to be facing up against. So, the easiest choice is just ban it out.
10 seconds remaining.
It's also a good hero to ban out against the Enigma. There's only a few things that will go through that BKB of his once he starts channeling his black hole. And VS Swap is one of those things it will go through. Batrider is, well, surprisingly been banned out here by Na'Vi. They banned the Puck as well as the Batrider, so they're looking towards the offlane. They don't have the first pick coming into the second phase, which might be the reason why they're doing that. And it might also flag for us just what Na'Vi have planned as far as their lanes go. The fact you're banning out, like, the Puck gets banned out, which kind of reveals the fact you can have some jumping heroes that do not want to get silenced. The Brewmaster, for me, will be a big one to flag into that mix-up.
Reserve time.
And the second thing is just the fact that you ban at the Batrider, which leads me down the line saying that Doombringer is going to be a core.
Dire team.
And a core being played by Funnick, as in, like, third position Doom. But the chances of that could also, it could easily vary. Na'Vi is not backed into a corner with the draft. And the Bane ban out, it's just a combination hero with the Mirana. You could still be going in for SD if you're searching for like a real combo. The other choices too is the fact that Invoker is still on the field. So you could actually go the SD and the Invoker. That'll allow the Doombringer to run a safe lane, depending who he's up against, of course. But could just run a safe lane hero as a safe lane hero. Casting since 7 a.m. in the morning seems to have affected my brain. More than normal, of course. But yeah, the Doombringer on the safe lane, you could run a Mirana with an aggro tri-lane up on top, with just Nesty set up and just one person to follow through. You're still got a Rubik on the mix, so that would be a nice little like setup for the Mirana. And then you got the Alchemist as well, now being picked up. So the ability to run like a multi-range lineup on that off lane is exactly what you want to have. Zone out that Alchemist, and he can't really harass you. Unless this will be an Alchemist for the middle lane. Sing Sing's played a little bit. I've seen an off-lane Alchemist earlier today. May I never see that again. I saw an off-lane Enigma today. ISIS actually played a laning Enigma today. They played it with a Lich in combination, and it was not always in the same lane. The Lich actually moved himself in towards the mid, but with the double denial, you just get yourself so far ahead in experience and gold. Their lineup just steamrolled the enemy. But so far, we probably don't have to lock ourselves into that kind of combination, but it's good Acid Spray, Midnight Pulse, as well as Plasma Field. So again, Na'Vi going to have trouble going high ground. So getting a couple of heroes which can get pickoffs is nice, but they still need a means to an end, which means they need a way where they can reach the high ground and really push it up hard. And just a Doombringer and a Mirana will not be enough to do that up against this kind of lineup so far. The Rubik's still a nice selection, because you need lane control, but they should look at some other cores that allow them to force the issue. And the other option is, too, they try and go something like an Enchantress and really push it. But you could do that similar kind of stuff with like a Chikiro or a Pugna. Something else along the lines that attacks directly into the towers. So, decent amount of options open for FNG. While, Team Tinker, a lot of team fight control, a lot of counter push, a lot of strength during the team fights as well. Once the Enigma picks up the mech, and the Alchemist just gets up some higher levels up in his Chemical Rage. Very difficult to kill off. I'm just interested to see if that's going to be a support Alchemist or not. Or if they want to be running that Alchemist in the middle lane in the hands of Sing Sing. It'll be very dependent on the laning that comes out from Na'Vi. So if it is going to be melee versus melee in the middle lane, then the Alchemist can play it. You just throw the Acid Spray out and you can farm underneath the cover of the Acid Spray. And you get some really quick levels and a Treant Protector pickup. Interesting. We'll see if the Ember's going to come along with this one. Just flags the old combination for me, which is like the Living Armor as well as the Flame Guard. Makes it difficult to actually get a kill onto an Ember Spirit when he's running a solo mid-roll. So that's one way to protect yourself. Doesn't really protect up against the heavy push lineups. So if Enigma's got a little bit of help, they could just push directly through the towers. So you can get rid of chip damage. That's not gonna help to bring down the towers, but yeah. Either way, I've actually got Nahaz giving me a very good pointer as well. With this far into the draft, and considering this hero so far in all the games today which we've been casting, from both Cena as well as from ESL, Krob has been banned out in the first two, or picked in the first two, every single time. And now we're looking at this going, where is the Death Prophet? You pick a Treant Protector over grabbing a Death Prophet as well? He's the ultimate spice. It's a person who comes with perfect counter push through Crypt Swarm, perfect ability to force down towers, not to mention the very high amount of physical DPS you're capable of pumping out with the high level Exorcism. And you've even got an extra controlling ability up your sleeve, which comes through silence. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. 63% involvement rate coming out from the Krob. 95 picks and 55 bans in just this month. That's in 16 days. That's a lot. That's a lot of Krob being banned or played. Or unless that's actually the victory rate, instead of actually how many times it's been banned or picked, that's a win-loss. So 95 wins and 55 losses. Alright, so 63% win rate. That's still a crap ton of Krob. It's 150 games of Krob right there, within the space of 16 days, and competitive matches as well. A lot of games. Alright, so it looks like it will be an Alchemist support, as the Venomancer is now going to be picked up here. And Sing Sing normally will take that towards the middle lane. Either that or EGM runs it on an off lane. You are Dire side, so you can farm up with your Acid Spray. That is a possibility. And finally, hey, would you believe it, Rubik. No surprise there whatsoever. Still the laning is a question mark. But you got a Doombringer on the off lane with Living Armor protection, and it's up against an Alchemist. Who gives a crap? You don't have to worry about that. The Enigma rotation won't be as
10
scary either.
seconds remaining.
The Doombringer just needs to make sure he's got Scorched Earth off cooldown, so when he's initiated on,
5
he pumps that
seconds
up,
remaining.
the Living Armor will protect him, and if they need to, they can TP in both the Rubik and the Tree Protector to give him an extra
Reserve time.
little bit of oomph. The other option too is you run a Rubik and a Tree Protector on the aggro lane. Just considering the Tree Protector up against the Alchemist will win physically. The Enigmas are going to have no real bar of it.
Navi's
But you
turn
still
to
need
bat.
someone that's able to capitalize on a pullback. And you still need to know who the core is going to be up on that top lane as well. Because right now we're assuming it's going to be the Venomancer in the mid and the Razor up on the top, with the potential Alchemist off lane or support.
10
Now,
seconds remaining.
if they push the Venomancer to the off lane, they pump the
5
Razor in towards the mid,
seconds remaining.
it changes up your top lane completely. But Na'Vi don't have to worry about that too much. The Crop does finally get banned in the 5th slot, and the Void will be the final ban out. I think
Dire
they're more
team
concerned about heroes that can just give, well, a little bit more team fight control, but more importantly, it's a hero that can also escape from any kind of potential gank. But that's only if Na'Vi are going to go an aggro tri-lane. I'm fairly certain, like the stats would say, it will be a defensive lane with the Doombringer on the off lane and a Magnus pickup by Team Reno
Navi's
Tinkerino.
turn to pick.
So it is actually going to be, well, this actually doesn't limit anything for us, because they can still be very dynamic with the Magnus. Magnus used to be an off-lane player. Currently, there is very little to control him. Like a Rubik and Mirana could just run the safe lane by themselves. But with the Magnus being picked up, you can push the Veno, the Alchemist, or the Enigma into core roles here. Venomancer support, I
10
know Cap
seconds
wasn't too much of
remaining.
a fan of that during our earlier cast, but I'm still okay with him being a
5
support hero.
seconds remaining.
I'm more worried about Venomancer being picked up when you got a Rubik on the field, because he's just going to take your strengths and turn it against you. And it will be a Sing Sing Venomancer. Quite for Magnus, so Magnus returns to the offlane. I haven't seen it in a while. I haven't cast that in a while. And we'll get a real Dendy hero, which is going to be the Storm Spirit. Jumping around everywhere. Got to evade that Magnus initiation. But it's going to be very difficult to lock him down without using your big ultimates. Be it Black Hole or be it the RP. Because there's only 3 stuns in this lineup. Well, technically 4. But we're going to count the Malefice stun. So you got Malefice, you got Black Hole, you got Concoction, and you've got RP. You do have a mini controller which also comes out with the skewer. But I'm not going to really count that as a how do I hold someone in position
10
for a long
seconds
time.
remaining.
And even the Malefice, once Storm starts his jump, he's okay.
5 seconds remaining.
But let's get ourselves into the game. So, first game of the day for the D2CL. And Team Marino Tinkerino. They're going to try and push their advantage. So far in the competition,
Prepare for battle.
they've played 5 out of their 7 rounds that they have to play. And they've gone 6-4 for their results. So every game is a 2-game series. They managed to just get 1 extra up as far as the count goes. There's one team which is leading the way by a very long way. And that's Team Empire. They were a team that played last time up against Power Rangers. They went 2-0 up against Power Rangers. And as far as their game up against Team Marino Tinkerino, they actually went 2-0 in that game as well. Team Empire, like they're kind of like the, I don't want to say the unsung heroes, because I think a lot of people are singing their praise. But they're definitely being one hell of a team of late. As far as Na'Vi goes, they've only played 2 of their series. They ended up going 2-2, finding draws along the way. They drawed up against Fnatic, and they also had their game up against Alliance. So there's a lot more games left for Na'Vi to play for the D2CL. And they'll have to work their way through it pretty damn quickly too. There's actually been some surprise losses coming out, with Cloud9 and Virtus Pro both being at 1-3. VP,
30
maybe not as
seconds
big a
to
surprise.
battle.
If you asked about a month ago, it probably would be a surprise because VP was walking over everybody. But Cloud9 definitely struggling here in the D2CL. They had their bad results last night. They had to draw up against Power Rangers, and Team Reno Tinkerino didn't just battle them, like they destroyed them in a 2-0. And then they even played, I think, like a Star Series game directly after that, and also got destroyed. So Cloud9, bit of a rough night 2 nights ago. Alright, so let's look at our lane. So Coinful will actually be the mid-solo Magnus, and Sing Sing's going to the off lane. So they stay on their, okay, we need 1 to 2 minutes. Yeah, alright. So Sing Sing will stay on his signature hero. He's just going to play the off lane. Bulba's going to look for just a quick conversion to give Sing Sing the advantage on the off lane. EGM, support Alchemist on top, going to babysit Pycat. And then as far as Na'Vi goes, Dendy in the middle lane. We do have Doombringer Funnick on the safe lane, so it looks like my feelings were a little bit right with this one, and it's going to be a, well, at least an attempt at offlane here with Horvorst, going with just a couple of tangos and a Wraith Band. Doesn't need much more when you got Living Armor or Leech Seed to babysit you. And then you've got the Rubik, as well as the Treant Protector, which is Vanskor as well as FNG. The two new kids on the block for Na'Vi. All the cores get to remain the same. I'm interested to see also how effective their lane's going to be. Because the heroes which we ended up getting, like, a skewer away, you could do that from Coinfa. Takes a little bit of time before you, like, fully get the steam up behind the skewer. EGM's escape from this kind of attack with both Leech Seed, Telekinesis Drag Back, and then potential for the Mirana Arrow combination. If all that connects, the Alchemist has little to no armor. In fact, he's got 1 armor here in the first level. That's not what you really want to be writing home to your parents about, saying, yo, Mom, I've got myself 1 armor. Like, that's not something you want to say. That's like saying, I brought home a pregnant, like a pregnant girl you've never met before. That's not something you really want to be breaking to your parents. Unless they're really understanding about that, at which point, good luck. It's... Alright. Funny's got issues. Fair enough. Fair enough. So this lane, it's also going to be another interesting thing to watch too, with the Rubik as well as the Mirana Arrow. Never really the easiest thing in the world to get the perfect hold on, because the lift duration's 1.5 seconds. The stun duration's only when the other hero hits the deck, and it's who he actually stuns. So you've only got a 1.5 second window to get the arrow right. And then technically you do have like the throw-in as well. So if Vanskor holds him in position, doesn't really work out as well. If he throws it directly back towards the Mirana, that works a little bit better because then you hold duration time. Like you reduce the effectiveness of the arrow, but you at least ensure the arrow connection will be there. The other option is you throw the arrow first and then Vanskor throws him into the path of the arrow. But that kind of timing, well, I'll applaud Vanskor if he's capable of achieving that. Yeah, but the main point I'm trying to make is it's not as easy as the other combinations which you can have with Mirana arrows. So the easier choice is to go something more like the Bane or the Shadow Demon. But in this case, they wanted something up against the Enigma. And Vanskor is going to be a really like big hero coming into the mid game. As I was already mentioning before with the Venomancer, Sing Sing will get like high levels up in his Plague Wards, and then Vanskor just steals it. So he's able to make a pushing power coming out of this Rubik, who normally has got like some good counter pushing power and some good initiation. And even his initiation, if he does get a Blink Dagger, you got a potential Black Hole, you got an RP, which you could also be stealing. You got Unstable Concoction, you got Acid Spray, you got Plasma Field, you got Eye of the Storm, you got a lot of different abilities, which this Rubik could be picking up. Alright, now Sing's gonna crash. Everybody's having issues today. Even my computer was having issues earlier today. That wasn't an enjoyable time. Load up your Dota in the morning. Why are you not installed? What did that 2 gig patch end up doing to my computer? Well, thank you very much to Valve for releasing their workshop tools, which seemed to break my entire streaming machine. Not the streaming machine actually itself. It was just the gaming part of the machine's setup that we use here. Looking forward to also unveiling our new studio to everybody. I don't know if people actually saw it, but I tweeted out, as well as put it over my Facebook, the new screen setup that we're toying around with to get it all to work and get everything constructed. So it's gonna be pretty cool once it's all up and running. For now, we're actually running multiple studios. Even had multiple casters join recently here in the Freaks for You office. So we even had a World of Tanks is the newest addition to our casting team. So we'll have that. Oh, isn't that pretty? All over the map. And they tried to do the Ukrainian flag. I think they tried to do the Ukrainian flag. Unfortunately, yellow has to do the top and the bottom to really make that work. Yeah, but hopefully we'll get to reveal a lot more about it in the near future, and we'll finally have some real overlays, as in our tools for overlays. I know everyone's been asking for it. I've been promising it for a long time, but we're getting there. We're getting there. All right, game resumed. Off we go. So, FNG and Vanskor. Let's see how effective they're going to be up on the top lane. As far as the middle lane goes, like Koifa versus Dandy, maybe with some good time Shockwave, said he could find himself in trouble. He did go Null Talisman very early on, so the harassment from Koifa will be rather successful here. Because then he's only got one, like, extra tango. He's going to make sure he can farm up with the static remnant as much of this dire creep wave as possible, because without it, he's not going to find the money for his bottle, and that's the most important thing he can get here. Same for Koifa, but Koifa, he actually did the other thing, and already, Vanskor, is there any vision of him around here? No, there's nothing. He's pinging out, but Koifa is being very, very defensive about this. As oh, look at this, even Sing Sing's courier. It's the Beaver Knight. Look at him! Look at him! Look at him! It's amazing! Look at the tooth. It's grin. It's amazing. Alright, back to the game. Yeah, it looks like it was spotted out by the fact this observer was not flagging the fact that the Rubik is up here. So, Koifa was just being a little bit more defensive about getting that bottle out to him. And now he can, well, it looks like he already sent it straight back again anyway. Top lane, first blood. That was just an arrow, a leap, as well as a leech seed set up. And the Razor will go down. Vanskor not even involved in that. Those kind of kills shouldn't be happening. But the supports are too far away, and EGM doesn't really have any kind of presence in the lane either. He wants to be farming up with, what, Acid Spray? There's no stacks inside the jungle at the moment. But First Blood going the way of Na'Vi kind of leaves Team Reno Tinkerino a little bit crippled, especially when it's a Vorst who's getting the advantage. Pycat, he's not even level 2 yet. He's 3 levels basically behind this Mirana by the time he'll reach back to base, and no one even bought him a TP scroll, so he had to walk his way all the way back up to the top lane. Well, FNG's on a run with Smoke. They're coming in with a DD rune on the Stream Protector, and Bulba, well, they need to get the leech seed off. And there it goes. Bulba will be slowed down. Vanskor is going to get the pickup, and Bulba with the DD fists of FNG, he is going to fist bump him into oblivion. Well, until the convergers start damaging into Vanskor, the courier is actually going to get killed off in the meantime. FNG was there for it. The Razor has managed to kill off the Rubik, as he was a little bit too tight there. FNG not so sure about this. Concussion Stun's coming from EGM. Support's rotating up, and that's Koifa. He's got a Shockwave of Valve. He's going to skewer FNG back up on top of the hill, while Pycat seals at 56 points of damage, which for this point of the game is actually really quite good. But it goes 2-1 now in favor of Team Reno Tinkerino, but they've lost their courier. And, oh, actually, that's a big loss too. It's only down for, like, a shorter period of time because it wasn't flying by that point. But it's the Soul Ring of Bulba. This is really going to restrict his movement in through the jungle now. And it was just transferring it. It was just walking out to him. And FNG just turns around and brings it down. There's another concoction prepping. They're looking towards Vanskor. He already got the pickup on Pycat, while the arrow, there's your combination with a Force leaping in. See, that's how I saw the combo going on the top lane to get the kill, but he did it with FNG instead. Now, a big dive with the leech seed. A Vorse with his phase boots. His damage output is really damn good. And now he's 2-0-1. As far as the kill, deaths, assist count goes. Dandy no level 6. Koifa's going to have to skewer if he wants this rune. Courier's on the way. Oh, hey! Drag him back. The battle continues. Little Danny Dennis Courier is watching, and he even... Oh, he didn't deny it. He tried to, but won't get the denial off. EGM getting the stun off. But living armor protects Dandy so hard. And it's very, very difficult to get a kill on any hero at this point of the game, especially when you got a level 2 living armor from FNG. Getting involved in a lot of these engagements, being involved in the first blood. And now just pushing his advantage out. One lane which we haven't even looked at, or I haven't looked at, is bottom lane. Doomring is just sitting down here farming up. He was going up against Sing Sing. Looks like Sing Sing's gone all the way back to base. Doombringer is not looking too healthy either. That's what initially flagged it for me. But it's the fact you've got a level 6 Doombringer on this bottom lane. Continuously farming up, devouring till his heart's content. He's only going to find himself some Vuls over on the side, which is not what he's searching for. He wants to power level, but he's got the diest. Yeah, he's got no big creeps. He's only got the little mini Centaur, which he can farm up at the moment. On the bright side for the Enigma, his Soul Ring is now back in the world of the living, and the Courier can start doing its work, bringing out some much-needed boots to the lane. Both Bulba as well as for Koifa. It's been base. It's a base walk speed coming up from Koifa. This is not what he wants to have happen to himself. 16-2 up against a 31-8, and now Vanskor comes in, telekinesis pick up, and they drop him like a heavy sack of potatoes down the stairs. This is rough. The mag is not finding any major levels. Pinecat's also getting completely zoned out. He's not a full 3 levels behind Horst anymore, but
We
he may
say
as well
no.
be. It's a 4 for 2. 4 for 2 CS over on the Razor. I hate to actually bring this up, but the net worth, yeah, look at the top 3. Morana's at 3.4k, and the first one you hit is 1.9, which is a Venomancer, while Bulba, doomed up, on the run. Sing Sing's going to throw the Gale off, and Funny's going to lose its movement speed on this too. Bulba, he won't tick out from this. Not unless he's silly enough to use his Soul Ring. Nope. Back past the tier 1 tower, so he survives the Doom, but he's instantly forced back out of the Radiant jungle. Denny's also up to level 7 now, so he's got jump abilities. While Koifa, he does have his RP available, but he's still running on just Bottle as well as Magic Wand charges. Doesn't really have much more to speak of apart from that. And of course is on the full hunt. He's checking every single nook and cranny, but Pycat is not wanting a bar of it. He's already died too many times up on that top lane. He doesn't want to add another time to the mix. They will keep that pressure up. Venskor now moving down towards EGM. Gonna see him very obviously plant the ward and instantly buy a sentry wards to counter. And they're picked up and they're on the way. So they're gonna restrict the vision there of Team Reno Tinkerino for what comes out of the Radiant jungle at least. Funnick still free farming bottom lane. 2.9k. Gives me flashbacks to a Doom of old back when he used to play for Team Empire. That game he was over on the Dire side and just set up on top lane. Happily farming up. And then 18 minutes he showed himself, and he's walking around with a heart and assault cuirass. It was... I wish I could remember exactly the details about that game. All I remember is just being like gobsmacked about how much farming he was capable of farming up. Because it was just a straight hand of Midas, went straight in for it too. Like he was under no pressure, didn't have to get tranquil boots at all. But every single basically last hit, and maxed up the Devour the second he possibly could. And with all of that, he just skyrocketed through the farm. Funny's also getting a little bit of help. This is when the Venomancer chip damage really doesn't do its work. Like, the Plague Wards are trying to keep this lane forced in, but the Living Armor is bringing this tier 1 tower back up again. So because of that, like, the mid-tier 1 towers could get a little help as well. It's the bottom tower that's really under siege more than anything else. Koifa being dragged in, Vanskor gets a pick up, and Koifa set again. A lot of jumping. Hey! There's your RP. The damage, Dendy, he has a haste rune, gonna jump quickly and ensures the kill. That's why Magnus couldn't run himself away. Tried to survive with an extra movement speed, but just not enough. Now, if this game keeps going the way it is, Na'Vi will have this in the bag within the next 10-15 minutes. So it's just going to steamroll with their heroes. Pycat has no real presence here. He's trying to build into a drums. Could even get phase boots over on this Razor. Like, you wanted phase boots, then go into your drums, and then get into your mech. With potentially getting a very early mech anyway. But it didn't happen, so Sing Sing's now going to have to sacrifice himself a little bit. When Arcane Boots swirls the Ring of Basilius, this is all about just to push power into the tower, which, by the way, Doombringer, because he went a little AWOL to find that, that bigger centaur of his. He's going to have to deal with all this extra damage here. And a lot of Plague Wars to kill off as well. They're level 4, which isn't making life any easier. As long as always... Well, actually, the only person who could really, like, bring these down nice and quick... So she's going to be the Mirana. But Vorce currently is a little busy on the top lane. Building into his Yasha.
Radiant's bottom tower is
So
under
some
attack.
early damage, some early movement speed coming his way. And this tower continues to get brought down. Bit by bit. Funnick actually swaps out his attack aura for some speed. But they need to do something down here. He's pinging out. Like, FNG is pinging out saying, well, I want to give it living armor, but while you got Plague Wards there, I can't do anything about it. Now, they got to defend this. The Gale, it flies in, but Vanskor picks up Sing Sing, throwing it back to Malvazan, and the Black Hole being committed by Bulba. They won the kill on Vanskor with a Moonlight Shadow. He'll go invis, and Sing Sing's got nothing to stop this. The army of conversions will be created. The fortifications trying to keep this tower alive, while Dendy jumps up to Bulba, dragging him back in again. The Plague Wars are still killing off the tower. They got to get back Vanskor on 43
Radiant's
life
bottom
points.
tower is under attack.
Is someone going to defend this tower? 15, 9. And that one more, there it is. We'll get the kill. Meanwhile, the Mirana did die up on top lane. The Enigma was picked up on the way back out again, as we saw. Whereas the Mirana getting killed up by the Magnets. RP being committed, as well as what appears to be almost all of the mana pool of Pycat.
Radiant's top tower
And with the
is
double
under
damage rune
attack.
on Magnus, they're going to try and force this tower out as quickly as they can. There's no impasse, there's no easy cleave through the creep wave, and they're losing their own one. The next one will come in shortly, and they kind of got to tank it up. There's no bottle charge still on Koifa. But they need to keep the catapult alive in order to have any kind of chance of getting damage into this tower, and Koifa just says screw it. Skewers himself away to safety. And Vorse wants to kill. He brings the creep wave up a long way. This actually ends up helping him out too, because the catapult goes straight down. And he keeps the creep wave out of range. Okay, maybe it won't. I was going to say out of range of the tower. So he's able to farm it up in, like, without having to have his last hit stolen. It's like that whole mech idea, out the window. Sing Sing's building an Aghanim Scepter. They're going for more teamfight control coming out from Team Marino Tinkerino. The mech will be done by the Enigma instead. The only reason why I was being a little skeptical about where the mech was going to be built, like if it was going to be built on the Razor or not, was primarily because I'm missing the initiation. The Venomancer isn't an initiator, and when you have a lineup like this, where you run a Venomancer, you need to get a lot of early pushes down. You need a lot of early towers, so then you can just like skyrocket into your next item and get that Blink Dagger over on the Enigma. But because it never arrived, the initiation just really isn't there. And Koifa, I think he's actually bypassing his Arcane Boot so he can get to that Blink Dagger. And this makes up for it. I was looking for the Blink on the Enigma more than anything else. Doesn't happen a lot. We had it once earlier today. A lot of Enigmas do just prefer to go for a little bit more life points, so mech and BKB together. But in this game, if Team Marino Tinkerino aren't initiating, they're just going to get picked off. Now, they're going to try and defend the middle lane. Pycat getting slowed down. The tower just getting whittled away. The arrow connects on Pycat too. Denial will still be there from Koifa, but in comes Dandy. He'll get the drag back on EGM. Doesn't want any kind of stun. And FNG's ultimate, ensuring Pycat will remain here. The plasma field from Pycat doing a lot of damage, but he will still bring him down. Denny with a double kill. Now the RP committed Bulba. Midnight Pulse, but no Black Hole. FNG, they'll have the Moonlight Shadow to escape. He gave the living armor over to a Vorst. In case a Vorst want to get a little over aggressive, while Funnick on the top lane is chasing down the Venomancer. He went a 1-4-4 build, so even if Sing Sing does survive this, he can't throw the ulti out and get some space. Funnick will kill him off. Well, it seems like the Enigma did go down. Maybe another Dendi jump into an arrow, and Mirana will get the kill underneath the tier 2 tower in the mid. But Funnick having a lot of fun up on this top lane. 6.6k net worth to 6.2k. That's the top 3 for Na'Vi right now. And Funnick, oh wait, EGM! He screwed that up. He meant to get the concoction throw off, but never actually released. Might have been because Funnick got himself out of range. Having that little speed creep inside of him, paying off a little bit more than he thought. Not to mention having the drum charges. That's why he's capable of keeping up with the Venomancer, no matter what was thrown on him. With speed creep as well as drum charges, the Venomancer's control just isn't high enough. No point turning around to attack him with Poison Sting. It's not going to make much of a difference. Like, you're slow, 14%, easily counted. Vorst makes more of himself. I was just checking in on Roshan. Leaves one of his illusions behind. But that was the rune he was triggering, not the full Manta style. He doesn't have that much farm just yet. But overall, Na'Vi definitely have the lead. 7,000 in the net worth advantage. And the experience reaching up higher, almost 7.5k in that. And FNG's on the hunt. There is an Observer Ward down for the Dire side, but he's coming in very, very deep. The skewer away by Koifa. And FNG's just prepping some nice aggressive Observer Wards. This one's about to time out, so we might consider throwing another one. Either a little bit further over here so we can see where the jungling's happening, or down this area. The top tier 1 tower is toast. He doesn't even need to throw a ward behind the tower, but he'll do it so we can see if anyone's going to come in. Actually, it's Vanskor. I thought for a moment the Mirana was up here, but it's not. And instead, the Mirana's going to find Sing Sing, who's taking care of all the illusions. And now we'll attack into Roshan. But the fact that he even killed off that illusion reveals the fact that Team Marino Tinkerino are wanting Roshan. They have an Alchemist with Unstable Concoction, so it's obvious. But Denny's already got the BKB up and running. Bulba's Black Hole may be able to hold this for him, but Koifa, the RP's already going to be used. Denny, he needs to get himself away from this living armor and then storm ulti out. Now, Roshan's only at 1/3 of his life points. So either they commit to this or they don't. Arrow's on the way in. They'll only hit on the conversions, but reveals out what's going inside the pit. And now the ulti out from FNG, slowing down Sing Sing, who still doesn't have this ultimate available. And Vorse is trying to physical damage him down. The doom will be over on Pycat, but Pycat got most of his abilities off, so he's okay with this. While Funnick getting Malifa stunned up, Bulba Still no black hole from him. He's too low on life, and Sing Sing being picked up and dragged back into the Starfall will cause his death. He'll buy back up. The arrow going through the clutches of Roshan's fingers. Well, again, this Moonlight Shadow giving another escape mechanism out of here. Then he's hoping for a 16-minute rune, but he'll be on the bottom. It's a haste rune for Revorsed, which he'll be able to bottle up. But Dendy is just too low. He doesn't have mana to stay with this. That's the reason why he's going back. While in middle lane, FNG is chasing down Kuiper. And they're just playing the dance of the Sugar Plum big-feeted. Kuiper just blink himself away, just in case there's a little bit more follow-up to that. They check again inside the pit. The arrows. Oh, that's a nice one. Positions or fly over the top of Roshan and hit anybody that's on top of the ramp. So he gets the vision as well as actually getting the stun and the critical point. Now they're back into Roshan again. And Dendy, well, Arcane Boot charges, they're good to go, but Roshan, 700 life points, so he's got to jump now if he's going to make it, but he's too late. There's the jump. But they've already got Roshan. The arrow flies in, but it's too late. Now the initiation, FNG throws out the ulti. Pycat and Sing Sing locked here. The Aegis already blown. FNG's trying back up. Bulba, he doesn't have mana with the Soul Ring. He'll have enough to actually use his Black Hole, but Kuiper being dragged around. No RP for him. Sing finally has his ultimate up and running. There's a tree for a mag as a trade-off, and Vanscore's on the run out of here. He's got to move quicker than this, but at the same time, Funnick coming in. Doom off cooldown in 7 seconds' time. Maleficent on the tree line. The arrow only hitting on conversions again, but the physical damage from a Force on the high ground is going to help out while Dendy and Doombringer team up together to bring down the Venomancer. And again, Pycat doomed up and locked up. Funnick with the double kill, and EGM concoction will not be enough here. It's a triple kill coming the way of Funnick. The Doom just stood there for the entire engagement, tanking it all. And Team Arena Tinkerino, for the advantage they gained for Roshan, is thrown away instantly after. And now pushes the experience up to almost 10,000. The goal also stretching up. You wouldn't think that Roshan was killed in here. Just with the straight follow-up of the battle that Na'Vi was able to inflict into Team Arena Tinkerino. He's battling up against too much damage. Revorsed, he's still walking around. Like, it's 18 minutes in, but he does complete up his mana style. And you have Vanscore running around with an urn, decided not to go in for the Arcane Boots. Surprising too, because I was watching him move throughout the entire engagement, and normally, like, Vanscore's stealing abilities left, right, and center. And that fight, he didn't steal jack. Didn't take a single ability. Which is rather surprising considering there's a hell of a lot of them being thrown out. And most of them are good. So, Dendy on the top lane with the BKB. Really helps you out during those engagements. But he's already used 2 of the charges already. Doombringer wants to chase down onto Pycat, but it's not going to happen. In fact, it just looks like most of Na'Vi are just building straight into BKBs.
Tower is under attack.
You got already the minus over on Funnick, so he's getting a lot of money. He actually completed his BKB already. Now they invised up Dendy. You'll see the Plague War come up. So I want one hero to come a little bit too close to him. Sentry Wards and Bomb. They can see Dendy there. Just because the where Bulba was moving. Visions around the tree line. Looks like one quick ping saying, Avos, can you please bring down this bottom tower? With a double damage rune, it won't take long. Attack directly into the tower. Over 250 damage a hit. Danny's still on the run from Sing Sing. Looks like he got hit by a Gale. It's a level 1 Gale, so there's no damage coming the way of Dandy. And now he'll turn Initiate into Sing Sing. Drag him back, FNG with the lead seed, and the RP evaded it! Then he only got the BKB up, he evaded, and FNG with a triple ultimate. Bulba's got nothing he can black hole. He doesn't want to get Funnick. Funnick gets way too big for him to deal with. The level death's also still there, and that'll cancel Bulba's TP. And that's going to be 3 heroes lost on the top lane. The RP blowing. Havors taking the tier 1 tower in the bottom lane. And Na'Vi are making quick work here of Team Reno Tinkerino. Pumps the mana style and has enough damage. This is a disaster for Team Reno Tinkerino. They've still got a tier 1 tower up, but they'll be sitting there going, I don't think there is a way back. 14,000 experience, 14,000 gold. And even Funnick is finding Pycat now. He won't go for the kill. He doesn't have any kind of stuns. Or disable. But Na'Vi are hurting Team Arena Tinkerino so hard here in game number 1. I think Team Tinker want to try and fight this out as long as they possibly can. Just to make it feel like Na'Vi didn't just get a free win here. But even then, if they keep getting kills like they have before, it will be a free win. Funny doesn't even care about this top tower. He's walking around with 1,900 life points. He's still got another 2.2k gold to spend. And the tower last hit, 2.7k gold now on
Tower
Funnick.
has fallen.
We're 20 minutes in with a BKB Midas Doom. We're 2.7k. Venomet's in trouble. It's a Vorce. It's like Arrow and Starfall was able to connect on him. Now it's with an entire creep wave here. And no haste rune had to be triggered. No setup stuns. And he gets the kill. Now building into a Mithril Hammer that could be his own BKB. But considering the speed this game is going, it's probably going to be a Maelstrom or a Desolator. Because he's getting so far ahead. While we have time, chat trivia. Who are the only 2 players with more than 25 career pro Dota 2 wins as Storm Spirit? I want to say Korok. I want to flag Korok as one of them. And the other person I want to flag is Super. Super and Korok will be my 2 choices here.
Dire's
I don't know,
top
people
is
playing at
under
home.
attack.
You might agree, you might disagree. Let us know how much success Korok had in that Storm Spirit as Quantic. He may not actually make it in
Dire's
though,
top tower
because
is under
Korok
attack.
was a little bit of a loose cannon when it came to that Storm Spirit. So I might want a second option on this one. Considering his total career wins, like, it could actually be Dendi into that mix. Because he has played a lot of Storm Spirit over his time. So yeah, I'll put Dendi and Korok as like a 50-50 in either of them. I'm gonna stick with Korok though, and my other one is definitely Super from VG Gaming. Alright, in the meantime, pushes get to continue. And Koifa, for a man with no arcane boots, you're still hoping to get that big RP, but the combination just isn't there. Bulb is not available when they have to use it, and the RP keeps being used to get like 1 hero kill there or 1 hero kill there. They can't get the big one. And 1 hero kill there and 1 hero kill there still amounts to only 5 in total. Up against the 20 that Na'Vi have already claimed. And it is going to be the full Desolator. Double Mithril Hammer's already on the courier. He's dragging the courier back to pick up the answer. Dendi and Resolution. But Korok were in the top 6. Okay, with 20 and 19. Alright, so I still feel good about that. Surprised Resolution's actually up there. Like, I know he plays a good Storm Spirit, but it's not really he's not the first player I think of when I think of a Storm Spirit. And either way, Resolution's still a great player. Fantastic guy as well. Vision arrows coming out. I don't know what that's really meant to get vision of, considering they've already got 2 wards down from the Radiant side. They're blocking the Ancient area, and they're watching any kind of area around Roshan. So this is actually a double purpose ward, because this ward sees all the way up. So no matter where they come from, in a Rosh pit, instantly Na'Vi will know. And Roshan's gonna, he can potentially spawn up in 1 minute time, and these wards are only fairly
Radiant's
fresh.
middle tower is under attack.
Funnick's in trouble. BKB, the RP will be used, but Funnick, he's got the cover of Moonlight Shadow. He's considering a turnaround. He's also considering the courier, but now he beats into EGM. Wow, okay, that hurts. He got a big crit into EGM then. Sends Bulba packing, and Vanscore's gonna blink up. Observer ward. It's all there for the Dire side, but it's gonna be just watching closely as a Voss comes in with that Desolator, will turn his attention over to Pycat, while FNG, the Sprout will go out. I said the ultimate goes out from him, not the Sprout. Koifa was able to at least end the Mirana's dominating spree. As FNG staying invis, gonna stick away from those sentry wards. And they're chasing down after Funnick, but Funnick able to get another crit and enter the level death. Kills off Magnus before dying, but Razor will end the streak. That's 1.1k. They've fed a lot of money into Team Arena and Tinkerino with these streaks now. That's 2.4k in the stasher there of Pycat. So getting to his Aghanim steps is becoming a lot more reasonable now. But that was an 8 kill streak on the Doombringer. And I believe it was the full 6 on the Mirana. There's still a 7 kill streak over on Dendi, which can be taken out, but you still look at the huge advantage
Radiant's top
that's
tower
there.
is under attack.
FNG's being a bit of a twat. And now Dendi being a little bit more of one. Sing will pop the BKB off. Bulba deciding not to go straight to the black hole, realizing Dendi could just jump himself away at any time. So just with that jump, he's going to farm up the mid creep wave because he's forced Team Arena and Tinkerino back from that lane. And that's his full scythe of Ice now available. Looks like we got some problems with our Dailymotion live stream. Luckily our local recording is still going, but we'll try and get it back up again. Alright, so hopefully we've come back to the world of the living as far as the live streams go. I'm not sure if it's actually worked or not. I'm checking. Nah, I'm actually not getting my connection back in again. I'm surprised I haven't actually got mass spams just yet. And I'm trying to get my connection back. I'm trying to get my connection back in again so you guys can see the end of this game. I actually looked over and saw that. Something looked a little bit wrong. Alright, trying to encode again. Are we back to the world of living? Yes! I'm sorry to everyone on the live stream. I don't know what I don't know what the hell happened. Everything else was fine for our internet connection, but our connection to Dailymotion just ended up dropping. So we're encoding again and sending out. If you got friends that can't see it, just tell them to refresh the live stream. And they should be looking at the game again. When we come back in, 27 minutes in. I'm gonna double check over on my side screen too, where I have my my stream that told me that things were wrong. Alright, so arrow in for Roshan. Na'Vi, they're gonna have to be quick about this. The Plague Ward's already scouted out the fact they're trying to go for Roshan. And, well, Dandy, he's waiting for just a movement in. He said invis so he can dish it on Sing Sing. If they can pick him up before he gets the ulti off, that'll be big, but they get the mech off at least. Plans are filled in. Roshan's down. Aegis Immortal in the hands of Rana. He instantly leads up trying to fight this one. The RP stolen by Vanscore, hitting EGM and Koifa. Bulba tries to go for the black hole, but there's just too much life in the hands of Na'Vi. They just mopped the floor with Team Reno Tinkerino's corpses, and the only thing they lost was the Aegis the Immortal. There's a full GG call coming up for game number 1. Na'Vi will take the victory very, very convincingly. Looking very, very nice. So, well, I'm glad you guys get to come back to watch the end of that game. I apologize for the live stream going down. I will try and work out what's going on. But we'll have ourselves a quick break, and we'll come back here for game number 2, where Na'Vi going up against Team Reno Tinkerino. Not the only game series tonight, we also have Cloud9 stepping up to the plate later on this evening to battle up against Virtus Pro. So, good action coming your way. Stay tuned, we'll be back for more.